Alright, so I'm just fixing up the camera. Hopefully it doesn't look too bad. There you go. I'm getting a lot of hum from where I have my amp connected. So I'm just gonna jam a little bit. Let's see what I can find on my looper. I have no clue as to what I want to play right now. Tempo maybe. Hey babe! Let's go. Wow, that's loud. Okay. Let's go with that. Let's see who's online. Any comments, any questions, you guys? Can't really see anything here. Oh, there's the messages. Hey Juan, any help on alternate picking? What to practice when feeling in a rut? Greets and thanks. Saludos desde Vega Baja. Cheers from the west side. Saludos Joseph. Saludos Vázquez, la que hay. So Jan Turlin, any help on alternate picking? What to practice when feeling in a rut? So, let's see, for alternate picking, there's a bunch of things you could do. You could practice different types of movements. So, it's going to depend on the types of styles you want to play. For example, if it's something a little bit heavier, you want to do some shreddier stuff. So, I don't know, it's going to depend on the different styles. So, let me see. If it's something more like distortion, sorry about the hum. Electricity in this apartment is not really that great, so I'm going to get a lot of hum. But yeah, there's different exercises you can practice. It's all about practicing the movements. First things first, you can practice just the plain scales up and down. Let me take the distortion off. So you could go. And that's just practicing your skills up and down, always with the metronome. You want to get them as clean as possible and as in time as possible, especially when you're out in the studio. If you haven't done your metronome work, then you're gonna have a bad time. Um, and then you want to practice different movements. For example, the whole Paul Gilbert type of exercise. With what you're gonna do is just do that until it starts feeling more comfortable. So every day you'll do a little bit of that, and you practice it over different scales. So if I'm doing E minor, just the E minor scale. Yeah, my guitar started too. Sorry about tuning. So what you can do is you can practice that all over the scale. If it's like a 3-note per string type of thing. You start doing that type of movement up and down the scale, and you can apply it over all the different scales that you already know. And other types of movements you can do, like thirds. You can do all the different intervals. You can do groups of fours. But you gotta practice every single thing separately. Just think of as many movements as you can. Just groups, like different groups of notes, like groups of 3, groups of 4, groups of 5, whatever you like. You can think of any different types of intervals. You can do the whole scale, obviously. You could do specific types of movement that you create. So, for example, I don't know, like 1 3 1 3, like 3 groups of thirds, like, and then go back down the scale, and then apply that all over the scale. And just keep applying that all over the scale. Let me see. Other questions? Okay, no other questions. So yeah, let me just keep talking about that then. So I think that's probably the coolest one, to just create your very own patterns. You're gonna get a specific style out of it. You're gonna start creating your own movements, and you're not really stealing anything from anybody else. What was the Guthrie Govan thing, that legato stuff he loved to use? Um, there's a whole lot of things Guthrie Govan likes to do. Pretty much anything. He can do anything he wants. Um, I don't really remember the stuff I mentioned in the video, but I believe it's this thing here where it's like, I think it's that thing, that type of movement, the one I mentioned in the video. So if I have that huge distortion with the hum, it's gonna be something like that. And usually he likes to starts doing that and goes right into a type of bend. So that type of thing, which is, again, that's pretty much just the whole Bill Gilbert type alternate picking type of exercise. Turn off the delay. It's that type of thing, but I'm doing it using legato, so no alternate picking in this one. And then you just move positions. And then you can finish it on a bend or whatever. Let me see one. My question would be, when improvising on a simple progression and a change occurs, should I change to that chord, or just stay playing outside until the chord starts again? Okay, so that's gonna depend. I mean, it depends. Like, it depends for every different type of situation. If the chord moves and goes outside and stays on the chord, I suggest just going with the chord. So, for example, if you have, let's see if I can get a normal type progression going. so I'm gonna do C minor, like a C minor type chord, and then E flat minor type chord, which they have nothing to do with each other. So you could go, see if I can find some drums. I'll just do that. Oh, volume's down. So let's say that's my progression right there. Now, what I'll do is, it's two different chords, two different, completely different keys. So when I change from one chord to the other one, I have to change scales. I won't just go outside. I mean, you could sort of do that on any certain situations, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would probably just play over the chord, just go with the change. So in this case, I have like a C minor 7 sharp 5 type chord, and then the same chord for the E flat, so E flat minor 7 sharp 5. So from experience, from what I know, from this chord, Aeolian, or the natural minor scale, works well over that. Let me turn this down so it doesn't get annoying. So I'll just play C Aeolian, or the C minor chord, and then E flat minor for the E flat chord. I'll give you an example of that. So for that certain type of situation, it's better to go with the chords because it's gonna sound better. If you just go outside, it could sound like you're not, like you don't know what you're doing. Let me do the same thing, and I'll just play C minor for the C minor type chord, and I'll just go random outside playing for the E flat, so that you can hear. I mean, you could sort of get through it, but it's not gonna sound that well. Let me try it again. See, it doesn't really work that well against that type of situation. So it's all gonna depend on the type of situation. You gotta, I mean, going outside, especially when trying to create tension, you have to depend on the type of chord progression. If it's like a dominant type chord, where the whole purpose of the chord is to create tension, then you can go outside and just go crazy with it until it resolves. So again, it's gonna vary from situation to situation. Let me see. Oh no, my camera went down. I have it on a kind of a weak type tripod. It's an old tripod, so try to bear with me. Let's see. Okay, next question was Joseph. I have been practicing just modifying the pentatonic scale and adding specific intervals, or at least the important intervals that correspond to a specific mode, and it's much easier. For example, 1 flat 3 4 5 flat 7, and adding just a natural 6, or flat 6 to highlight Dorian and Aeolian. Even adding a major 7th interval to highlight melodic minor. It's all awesome and easier to visualize. That's a great approach. That's an amazing approach right there. That's more of a chord tone type of approach. That's a really good way of looking at it. So let's see. Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, you can totally do that. I totally recommend that. A lot of horn players actually like to do that. They play the chord tones and just add different specific notes from some of their favorite modes, and just go in and out of different sounds. So that's a really good approach. Totally recommend it. Go back to the drums here. Let's see other comments. Sergio Contreras, Jagger from LA. Cool, great motivation to me, thanks. I think, man, it's always cool to hear that my videos are helping. Hi, could you give an example of scale weaving from your book if you can? I think I have one of my books around. So yeah, let me try to do that. I'm actually gonna do a full-on video. I think you recommended that I did that. I'm actually gonna do a full-on video on the book explaining how to use it and how to use some of the concepts. But yeah, let me get the book real quick. Oh no. Oh no. Let me see if I have my book on here. Okay, so sadly, I do not have a copy of the book around. I have to go to my house. This is not my house, this is my apartment. Um, so, okay, let me see. Let me just gather. If I remember right, you were asking about the harmonic harmonized scale um, area of the book, which is just, let me explain it really quick. So with every scale, you get the harmonized scale, which is just the notes, the different chords that stem from each of the notes of the scale. So for example, if you have C major scale, you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And if you stack those in thirds, you get C, E, G, and B. That's a C major 7 chord. And then if you go to the second note, it's D. And you get a D minor 7 chord from there, E minor 7 next, F major 7, G7, A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5, until you get back to the C major 7. So in the harmonized scale area of the book, all I do is I break apart the arpeggios that stem from each note of the scale. So if I were doing, let's take this position of C major. So you get 7 arpeggios from the scale. So I give you the C major 7 arpeggio from the root. Then we go to D minor 7 from D, of course. E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5. Sorry about the phrasing. I really like doing that type of phrasing with the B minor 7 flat 5. It just comes out naturally. And again, C major 7. Now the cool type of thing to do with that is grab a standard chord progression that you know. It could be any type of standard. Let's just pick and choose a 2-5-1 because it's simple. It's a normal standard chord progression. So let's say you have D minor 7, G7, and C major 7. So you could record that. Let me actually record it because I have the facility here. So there we go. Now the exercise will be to practice the specific arpeggios for each chord. So for the D minor 7, you're going to do D minor 7. D minor 7 arpeggio. So then for the G7, you're going to go G7. For the C major 7, you're going to go C major 7, obviously. So now, if you can tell, I'm not really phrasing anything. It's just super mechanical, but it already sounds a lot like jazz in terms of the certain tones. Not really phrasing like jazz. I'm not phrasing at all. I'm just playing straight up the arpeggio. But then you can start adding your phrasing and creating melodies, which is what this is all about. So that's pretty much the harmonized scale section from my Art of Scale Weaving book. Um, And then you can apply that to any type of progression that you like, and with all the different scales that you like. It's good to practice all like the full-on 7 arpeggios from there, and then it's good to practice different um, chord progressions with those arpeggios, just so you get a feel of how it feels to play around with those different arpeggios. Hope that helps. I'm still gonna do that. Um, a couple of videos on the book, because there's a few sections and I would like to explain them. And eventually, I will do a part 2 of the book with more applied exercises. I'm sorry that I didn't actually do applied exercises on the first one. I just, there's so much work that I totally forgot about it. So yeah, I'll totally do a second part with actual applied exercises and examples. Okay, going back to the comments. Motivation, example scale weaving. Mateo Cesaro like play Pilgi. Okay, so like I did in my last live video, I haven't really practiced a lot of Mateo Cesaro lately, but I kind of remember some of the move. So let's add some delay, and you can do like different fillers. For example, if you're doing A minor 7, so that's pretty much the most Mateo Cesato type thing that I can come up with right now. There's just a couple bunch of things you could do, different fillers like pentatonic fillers in between. You could do different like intervals. Play around with the different slides and stuff. Hopefully you guys are hearing this. I don't know how it sounds out there, so hopefully it sounds good. So you can play with all sorts of things like that. You can also do like different type of pentatonic intervals. Not really thinking about like if it's a sixth or fifth or whatever. But just playing around with the different pentatonic scales. So you can play around with a whole bunch of things. I do have to practice this style a little bit more. I've been focusing more on like shreddy, legato type of stuff lately, and that kind of goes the full other spectrum of playing in terms of like Mateus Asado. So it's definitely not anything like Mateus. I'm sorry, I keep putting my finger right in front of the camera. Let's see, how do you start playing chord changes? And that's Aline. You should make a video on how to visualize arpeggios with the major scale. Totally, will do. That's pretty much what I talk about in the book in terms of visualization. Oh my god, visualization. That's totally what it is. It's just visualizing the different arpeggios on the fretboard. Up to a certain point, it's just practice. I mean, you can learn a whole bunch of concepts, but you do have to sit down and practice everything. But yeah, it's totally there's definitely ways of making things easier than just going full blown at it and thinking about everything. It's like everything. There's always a faster way to doing it. Let's see what else we have here. Thanks a lot for the help. Looking forward to future videos. They're all great and very informative. Thanks, Mark. Glad that I can help. Saludos desde Mexico. One licks outside double harmonic major. I don't know double harmonic major. I do know harmonic major. Let's see um, what I can muster up with harmonic major. I mean, I haven't worked it out all that great. I do have a couple songs that I've written in melodic minor sharp 11, which is from harmonic major as the fourth. What did I say? Melodic? Yeah, melodic minor sharp 11. Yeah, that's the fourth mode. And I really, really, really like the way it sounds. It sounds something like this. Sounds really, really nice. I mean, that's something I'm hooked on, practicing this like reversed thirds legato movement. So that could be a lick for harmonic major right there. Let's do straight up harmonic major. Neighbors are screaming at each other. I think they're doing like cleaning or something. Um, so okay, back to the topic. I'm kind of ADD. I go with whatever other type of I don't think. Just forget it. Going back to the lick. Um, so that's a harmonic major, like right there. You could do like reversed thirds, just doing full on. In this case, I'm doing C harmonic major. So it could be just doing um, some legato and some hybrid picking. So if I were to do it fast, let me see if I can do it because it's the first time I do that thing. I totally have to practice it because this switch here, it's weird. I have to practice harmonic major a little bit more, especially with the type of legato vocabulary and whatnot. But yeah, it's really, really nice skill. I really enjoy the sound I get from it. And I've written like 2 or 3 songs on it. Hopefully, I can record them soon. I'm still doing pre-production, but with the new um, work that I'm doing for guitar tutorials and just all the jams and I'm trying to get out at least 2 videos weekly, which I think this is probably the first time I do it. It's a lot of work, and I do work 2 jobs, both teaching music, plus the gigs that I do. It's a lot of work. So hopefully, I get enough time to work on my album. Let's see what else do we have here. What are the comments? So, play some diminished seventh, like just ordered the art of scale weaving. Thanks a lot, man. Diminished seventh, like so. There's this really cool thing I like to do with diminished seventh. Um, it's because it's simple. I mean, it's simple in terms of fingering. It's really, it's not simple. It feels comfortable, at least for me. And it's this thing right here. So you go minor third, and then you switch strings to the next string, obviously, and switch over to the next fret to the right. So, and then keep doing that. Then from there, I have to switch from 2 strings because of the whole intonation of the guitar. Oh, sorry. So that's a movement I enjoy a lot. It's really nice. It comes quite comfortable. That sounded weird. What was the legato thing you were working out? Can you give an example? Okay, so I'm doing different types of movements that I'm practicing. So one of them is the reverse thirds type of thing. I'm gonna do everything in major now, just to keep it a little bit simpler. So there's a couple of movements I'm working out. I'm doing the reverse thirds, which is one of my favorites. That's the reverse thirds type of thing. Also, I like that movement a lot. I'm doing this one right here. What's? Yeah, I'm going back to the thirds. I like that movement a lot. I like that movement a lot. I've also been doing this other one. Haven't been doing it as much as those two though. What was it? Thanks a lot for the help from the pal. That's awesome, man. Nice to hear from you. So going up, there's that move. There's that other move, which I actually have a video on that one. It's called my new favorite lick number 2. It's like a lick inspired by a friend of mine called Israel Romero. An amazing guitar player. You should totally check him out. So yeah, that one goes like this. That's the other movement, and then there's another one which, and those are pretty much the 4 types of legato movements I've been practicing. I mean, it takes a while to get those really down and comfortable. You can start getting faster. I don't know. It depends on how long you've been playing, obviously. I mean, in about 3 weeks, you can already start feeling that it's starting to feel a lot more normal. I mean, I remember the first time I did this, that just felt weird as all hell. It took me about a month to start actually feeling just a tiny bit comfortable with that. It's still not there because I haven't been practicing it that much. I've been practicing much. I've been practicing the whole reverse thirds thing a lot more. But it's still cool. Let's see what else. Hey, Juan Antonio, do you have your band project that I can go see you play live here in LA? Man, I don't live in LA. I wish. I don't have a solo project either at the moment. I'm still working out the songs. Hopefully by next year I can get my album recorded and start playing live with my stuff. I do play with a band here in Puerto Rico though. It's where I live. I live in Puerto Rico. I went to LA last January for NAMM, and I hope to go back this January. So if you're around in the area, just hit me up, and I don't know, we can jam or something. I don't know, we can totally get in touch. Thanks for the help. Yeah, but I don't have like any type of a full-on thing, like project right now. I have about 10 songs worked out, but I haven't got the full-on orchestration or arrangements done. So I have like 2 or 3 of them that are pretty much full-on, like the pre-production's full-on done, but I still have to work out the other ones, and I have nothing full-on recorded, so it's gonna take a while. If you have a very simple chord progression ongoing, how do you use diminished licks on top of it? How do you use diminished scale in general? Thanks in advance. Okay, so the diminished scale you can use in a whole bunch of different situations. You can use it over a diminished chord. You can use it over a dominant chord, almost like altered, but it's different things, different types of applications. So if it's okay, so if you know the diminished scale, you have the diminished scale, you have the whole half diminished scale, which is pretty much the diminished scale, and you have the half whole diminished scale, which is the mode that comes from the diminished scale. So the diminished scale you can play over the diminished chord, over a diminished chord, and the half whole you can play over over a dominant chord. I keep getting lapses because I keep seeing messages. I'm like, whoa, new message. Um, but also you can apply it over just over like a straight up minor type of progression. And again, coming back to your question, you could play it over a simpler type of chord progression. Again, it depends on the type of chord progression. Everything is very specific. So you have, but if it's something normal, you could probably go off the, like if you have something in E minor, or if it's like, take the delay off. If you have more like a rock type progression. Let me record that. Yeah, that's an okay beat. Okay, kind of got my own time. Didn't go with the metronome. So we have that sloppy ass rhythm guitar playing, and it's E minor. And then with that, you can go to the second degree of the E minor scale and play F sharp diminished, or F sharp like the arpeggio. Go diminished. So let me experiment with it and let's see if the full-on scale works from that place. But again, you have to do just a slight approach. So just go in and out of it kind of quick. You don't want to stay there for too long. So that right there is a cool way of approaching it. So you can think of it as starting from the second degree of the minor scale, or you can think of it as starting from the major seventh degree, or any of the four notes of that diminished arpeggio, and you can play the diminished scale from there. But again, you're pretty much just going out, so you have to be careful with that. I suppose you could do it from the root as well. It's just gonna sound a lot harsher. So let's try it. So yeah, it's gonna depend on the type of resolutions that you do. You can pretty much play anything, and as long as it resolves in a way that makes sense, then you can get away with it. So that's a really good type of approach. Let's see what else we have here. Saludos desde Puerto Rico, Dario. Can you play on my wedding? I don't know. Where do you live? It's gonna depend on. If you live in Puerto Rico, then we can totally make it work. If it's kind of far away, it's probably gonna be expensive in terms of the trips and stuff. But it would totally be awesome. I'd be down for it in a heartbeat. Pitch axis theory. Do you happen to know any good approach to combine scales modes in order for them to sound coherent or at least musical? Okay, so that's again, it's gonna depend on your chord progression. If you have like a very stagnant type of, if it's something like this that I was just playing, that's just E minor, C, A, and B. So there's not a whole lot I can do because the chords are changing. I can probably, I'm gonna try it just to try it. So what you can do is you can start applying different modes for each of the chords. So for example, the first chord is a minor chord. They're all power chords, so you can kind of play around with the tonality a little bit. Because they don't have any characteristical notes. I keep saying characteristical, that's not even a word. Jesus. So yeah, for the E minor, I think I'm gonna go with something minor major. So it could be like harmonic minor or melodic minor. Then I have G. For the G, I'm just gonna do. Actually, I could probably get away with playing melodic minor. Then for that C, I'm gonna try to play like C Lydian, maybe C Lydian managed just for the hell of it. Yeah, so E melodic minor. I'm gonna stick with the melodic minor there, and then I'll go to C Lydian augmented just for the hell of it. I don't know if it's gonna sound that well. And then I'm gonna try to go to altered for the B. So it's just the thing they're doing is just playing different scale for each chord. Let me try it out. So again, so in this case, the chords do last a little bit, so you can sort of get away with playing different scales over each of the chords. But if it's a faster going thing, you can't really get away with it. You can just play the the type of scale that's behind those chords. If it's a longer lasting type of thing, then you have way more liberty in terms of deciding what scale to play over what. Because the ear, the listener's ear is going to be a lot more adept to it. It's going to be easier for them to get used to those new sounds. I think I kind of went off the rails with that explanation a little bit. Hope it worked out. Let's see. Other stuff. Thanks, Michael. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. It's access theory. Do you know Tim Miller? Could I request a video about his secret at playing? I do not. I only met him at NAMM last January, and he's totally one of my favorite players. I do have to get to practice for that. Diego, que es la que hay? Saludo. Back to Tim Miller. Yeah, I totally wish I would. I wish I could take lessons from him. I mean, Jesus, he's an incredible player. Definitely one of my favorite players. I'll totally. That's a hard video to do, but I'll try it. I'll totally try it. I'm down to do anything, especially if it's one of my favorite players, because it's gonna be fun, like studying him and figuring out the type of things he does. I tried doing one of his solos once, and I got a whole bunch of different figures and stuff that he likes to apply. I believe he likes this figure here quite a bit. It's like a major type or minor seven arpeggio, however you want to see it. So, and then he varies different notes within it. It's a really cool approach. I have to study a little bit more. But yeah, I'll try to do a video on him. Cómo utilizar la escala doble armónica mayor en una progresión de acordes. All right, Luis. So if it's double harmonic major, I'm not super adept with the whole term double harmonic major. So I'm going to talk about harmonic major. Because I'd have to check out exactly what double harmonic major is, just so I don't say any weird stuff here, anything that's wrong. So if it's just plain old harmonic major, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, flat six, and natural seventh, mm, you could pretty much play it over a major type progression and get that flat six sound in it too. It kind of gives it that spicy type of flavor. Let me try it out here. Go back to the drums. Let me try to record anything. I'm just gonna go with those two super common tones. Um, so over that, I'm just gonna play harmonic major. It's gonna sound. I think it's gonna sound cool because it's gonna give it a bit of a spiciness. So here you go. So see now the trick to making it fit there, as you can tell, if I stayed on this note, just the A flat or the flat six, it's totally gonna sound a little weird. So you want to focus more on the chord tones, and you want to kind of avoid that flat six, but still play it because that's what's gonna make it sound like harmonic major. If not, if you want to go more of a modal type of approach towards it, you could take, if you have like a normal chord progression, and just play it over any type of major seven chord or major seven. Yeah, it's just like a plain major seven chord or major triad type of chord. Those are two ways of applying it. Of course, you have seven modes from that scale, so each of them has different applications. Um, I can I can totally get into doing a video on harmonic major later on. Let's see how to use a metronome to a fast. Oh no, wait, something before that. What's a good way to learn inverted chords? Okay, so good way to learn inverted chords. This is gonna be kind of harsh, but it's actually to learn them. So figure out, find yourself like inverted. If what you mean by inverted chords is the different inversions, it's just find different inversion, shapes or voicings and practice them. There's tons and tons and tons of different inversions and different, not different inversions. It's a limited amount of inversions, but of different permutations and different types of voicings is what I mean. So even with just triads, there's a whole bunch of different voicings that are really really cool. And you could do the same thing with minor seven chord, with the seventh chords, or with extended type chords like nines, 11s, or 13s. So yeah, just look for different ways of checking out those different inversions, and then pick and choose whichever ones sound the best for you. I always like to say that because in the end, it's just, I mean, you're playing music because you like to play music, so you should be playing something that you like to play. So always head towards the type of stuff that you like. Let's see how to use a metronome to a fast lick and build the lick up to speed. Oh, that's Diego. Okay, so it's literally, I can't really use my metronome because my metronome is my phone, and I'm recording this on my phone. Um, oh wait, I think I might have something here, like on the looper. I can't really remember it that well. So essentially, you just take a lick. Right now, I'm practicing this crazy Frankenbali lick. I can't get it as fast as I wanted to. That's gonna be for a future video. The lick is pretty much this thing right here. It's really crazy. It's pretty much the lick. So what I do is I set a standard, um, a slow beat on the metronome, and I practice it in triplets. I do 16th notes and I do 16 note triplets, and I keep like, I want to feel that I can play it without any type of problem overhead. whichever tempo I'm working out. So if I'm doing 70, I'll just go slowly. And I'll focus on everything, every type of movement, everything I'm doing, the right hand, the left hand, and just go slowly. And just go slowly and keep playing the lick. Then you up the metronome a little bit and you keep trying to do faster subdivisions. And every single time you start to feel comfortable, then you can start pushing the tempo. Don't try to push it before you know exactly what you're doing, because that's how your playing starts getting a little dirty. So yeah, that's probably the best way of using a metronome. I don't know if it's the best way of using a metronome. That's the way I like to use a metronome, at least for certain things. Can you keep this live video on YouTube? I want to keep watching this video from the beginning. Thank you so much. Sure thing, man. I think my last live video is up. So yeah, no problem with that. That's totally doable. I will do that. Thank you so much. Sure thing. Tu libro es mi próxima inversión. Mil gracias, Luis. Muchas gracias, seguro que sí. Thanks, man. ¿Alguna data de Tom Quayle? Okay, so in terms of Tom Quayle, haven't really studied him too much. I got a couple moves for the last video I did. Let me grab a bit of juice. So I got a few moves from him for my Tom Quayle video, obviously. I haven't done like a secret technique steps video at all. But this really cool thing. I'm just gonna do the same lick from the lesson. So there's this move. This thing right here. That's really freaking cool. And you can apply that wherever it may fit. So you can do it twice there. I'm just playing, you can see as C Dorian. And then there's this other move right here. So, okay, let me explain that first move. I'm just doing Dorian, and I'm adding a natural seventh, which would be B natural right there. I'm doing full-on legato. And then as soon as I switch to the next string, do something very similar. And I add the flat 5 in between from like the blues go. So that's a really cool move that when practiced from a whole bunch of different places, you can get really smooth sounding. I mean, it's really, really nice. I should practice that a lot more because it sounds really freaking cool when played really fast. It sounds really cool and interesting, and it sounds a lot like Tom Quayle. I mean, I got the whole flat 5 thing from one of his licks in Lick Library, and the type of movement I got from another Lick Library, and the whole natural 7 thing I got from Ross Campbell. Has a really, really cool channel. You should totally check him out. Can you sweep pick? Yeah, I mean, most of the scales I do, like the faster stuff, like that's actually, I consider it to be sweep picking. I'm doing economy picking. And if you're talking more like the Ingve type, that type of sweeping, I don't do it that much when I'm when playing with what I consider actually playing. Like if I'm playing with a band or anything, I don't do that much. Or if it's like a jam type solo where I'm trying to do something more like what I like, I don't do it that much. I don't particularly enjoy the sound too much. I used to love it when I was a kid, when I was about 15, 16, 17. Jason Becker was my favorite player, but I don't do it anymore. It's just, I do certain things, like for example, I do certain bits with sweep picking, like I like this move, that type of thing. that type of thing I did at the end. I don't do that anymore. But I might do like so like some going sweeping down and then switching to something else. So I might do like little fragments of like what you think about when you say what the usual person thinks about when saying sweep picking, which is more like the 80s neoclassical type shred stuff. So I might do like tiny fragments of that here and there, but I don't do it that much. Not really. Big respect from Russia. That's awesome, dude. Buddy, good luck to you. Thanks a whole bunch, man. When you release your solo album, will it have guest solos like from Israel? That's a really good question. I don't know if I want to do that on my first album, maybe on the second one. I'm not sure yet, so I might do it. I might do it. I still have no clue. Yeah, I have no clue. Could be, probably, but I'm not sure. Can't really answer that anymore. Not right now, because I mean, I don't really have the album down, and I don't know if it's gonna have like a full-on. I want it to be more like musical, not too guitaristic in terms of like shredding up and down. So I don't know if there's gonna be a lot of space for super awesome guitar solos. I don't know. Truth is, the album is still in like a very conceptual stage, so I, I still don't know exactly what's gonna happen. So that's probably the best answer I can give you right now. Um, so okay, let me see. Play something like slap guitar. Geez, I haven't done any slap guitar thing in the longest time. I only know like this one thing. This. Yeah, I gotta practice. I haven't done that so just in the longest time. Just that's as much as I can do. I can kind of fake it for some of the backing tracks I do. I grab my Spalted Maple telly, and that one really sounds like a bass. Um, and I kind of slap around with it. I don't know how to do that all that well. I did a little double thumb thing once for like the Tosin Obasi video. I haven't done that in like 2 years, Jesus. But it was something like, yeah, I don't know if I can do it anymore. That's some like, I don't know if you guys can hear it. That's pretty much as far as I can go in that direction. Usa acción bache. It's a little low. It's not. Yeah, you could say it's low. I don't know. I don't. It's not super low like a lot of players that I know, or other guitarists I've seen. But it's totally low. I mean, I tend to have hand problems. I get a tiny smidge of carpal tunnel. I get tendonitis on the elbows and a little tendonitis on the knuckles. So I tend to play. I use 9 strings. I used to use tens, and then I said, nah, I'm gonna make this as easy as possible. I want to play guitar for the rest of my life. I don't want to fuck up my hands anymore. So I try to do things as easy as possible. And I don't know if you can see the guitar. I mean, the actions, you could say it's pretty low. It's not like right there. Yeah, it's pretty low. It's not super low. Because if it's too low, I can't really do bends, and I'm not a super shredder type player. I like doing my bends, especially live. I tend to just jump around a lot. I tend to get more emotional than technical when on stage. So I can't really do that if the action is too low because my fingers just go like this instead of being able to grab a string. So it's low, but it's not super low. Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. Make please how to play Jacob Siteki. That's another hard video. I'll totally work on it. I have about 2 or 3. Let's see. Yeah, I think I have like 3 more how to play videos before I can start working on other ones. I already practiced a couple guys. I'm actually coming out with a new how to play video tomorrow, so stay tuned. But yeah, I already have him written down, and I love his playing, so that's totally a project. Let's see. You have to do a video like Gary Moore. Ross Campbell has a video on Gary Moore. It just came out like a week or 2 ago. You should check him out. That would be awesome too, because I really like his style. He gets real emotional, real passionate. Nadim Tosin Abasi once said he loved to superimpose in pentatonic. Can you elaborate on that particular concept? I'll get back to that real quick. Let me see all the other stuff. Ever play one of those through tempered necks? Any thoughts on them? I don't think I have. I've played like fan frets. I didn't love them. Just I didn't have enough time to get accustomed to it. Haven't played those true tempered necks. They look kind of weird. I totally like one of them. Can you use one of the studies? I don't have them here. I have them at home. I only have this guy on me right now. I'll probably do another video in a week or so I can totally bust out the other tellies, the other guitars. The M&A's 11s, man, and my hands are big. Yeah, I mean, freaking hand problems suck. Melodic arpeggios, heavy picking, está chula, Cesar. Gracias, Luis. Thoughts on Brian Gambale? Had you met him in MIT? I didn't meet him in MIT. I did meet him in a couple of clubs around the area, though. He plays the baked potato a lot, or at least he used to when I went to school. And I saw him with Chick Corea at Catalina's Club in Sunset Boulevard. So yeah, I mean, totally monster player, just super ridiculously smooth player. Probably one of the best techniques out there in terms of fluidity and just ease of effort. At least he makes it look easy. I've been practicing this 2 like adjacent, parallel, whatever you like to call it, triads, one next to the other. I remember I practiced this in college, and it's just so fucking hard because it doesn't come natural to me. So it's just, if I were to do it from C, it would be like a C major triad, and then D major triad. So it's that, well, but that one's easy. So you got to do this one. You have to do all those 3. So this one I can kind of pull off. But when it comes to this one, oh hell no, I can't do that like at all. I can't even try. Look at that. It's like I don't even know how to play guitar. Same with this one. This one's just, it's hard, man. You can sort of get along with some of the shapes and stuff. But I mean, it's hard. And especially with the ease of play that he does it, it's ridiculous. When you're a truly great player, I got a question for, do you know any guitars that uses legato on acoustic? Tom Quayle. I saw a video on YouTube, and he was playing an acoustic guitar. I think he's with Tony Martinez. Jesus, it's like he's playing an electric guitar. It's ridiculous. It sounds exactly like the same like he's playing an electric guitar. I wouldn't be able to do that in a million years. It's freaking ridiculous. Love my 9 Street. Yeah, I like 9s. I mean, for some heavier sounds, like if you want to get a Stevie Ray Vaughan type of thing, maybe a heavier gauge it's gonna work better, especially if you want to get like higher gain and stuff. Because these ones sound a little wimpy, but yeah, you can make it work. I mean, I gotta make it as easy as possible for my hands. If I gotta do, I only play like 10s or 11s if I go to the studio and I play one of the guitars they have there. So I can't really start changing strings and stuff. Or if I have to like switch strings for the studio again. But if it's for live situation or just overall practicing, I gotta stick to my 9s. Let me go back. I kind of went, oh yeah, Tosin Abasi, superimposing pentatonics. Okay, so that's a really, really cool topic. It's kind of long. Let me explain. Okay, let me give you a quick example. So a really cool thing that you can do is if you have like a minor 7 chord. Let's say you have A minor 7. You, of course, you can play the minor pentatonic scale from A, but then you can go up a fifth and play the minor pentatonic scale from E with that same thing. Let me try to record like simple chord progression. And then you would play. That's an A minor chord, so you go play the pentatonic scale of the fifth. So in this case, it would be E minor pentatonic. Ah, that sounded awful. So you can play the minor pentatonic scale from there. I think I'm going to tune again. There we go. Okay, so and a really cool trick you can play from there. It's doing the one pattern here. Oh, there we go. And then playing the other pattern with your right hand using tapping. So that type of thing. That type of thing. I'm not a big tapping guy, but that's a really cool trick if you are a tapping guy. It's getting kind of dark in here. Man. I'm on the guitar. Thanks, man. How to play rhythm guitar with drums. How to play rhythm guitar with drums? I suppose just try it out. Find a friend of yours that plays the drums and just start jamming. Like you could start playing cover songs or something, and come up with your own ideas. Obviously, practice with a metronome. Try to get it as close as possible. I had a really cool, eye-opening experience last weekend. I think it was. I was in the studio, and I was doing a very, very simple open chord type of thing, and it's so freaking weird. Like that's probably the hardest thing I did in the whole studio because you want to get that authentic sound from your playing. It's getting dark in here. You want to get that very authentic sound with your playing, but it still has to be with the metronome. So it's kind of hard. It's really it's kind of weird. Let me open up a door or something or a window. It's getting really freaking dark here. Be right back. Let me just turn this thing on. No, that does not help. It definitely does not help. Alright. Yeah, it's kind of the same. It didn't work out. Whatever. Hope you guys see me. I don't have any like my lights set up or anything here, so it's can get kind of dark. How do you offer classes for people in Puerto Rico? Where are you from? Okay, Joseph. So I spend half of the week in the west side around Isabela, Moca, and the other half of the week in Metro around San Juan. So what you could do is you could message me. You could sign up to one of the schools I teach in, or you could take private lessons with me at my place if you're from around. Um, I don't like going to different people's places because it takes a lot of time from the day, and I have a crazy schedule anyways. So probably the easiest way is just to go through one of the schools. If not, then maybe the Skype thing. But message me. I mean, go to my site and drop me an email, and we can talk about that. Do you always do live on every Sunday night? Not really. This is the first Sunday I do it, but it's gonna be a lot. I'm gonna start doing it a lot more often. It just started raining here. Hope that doesn't fuck around with the sound. I noticed that you have a headless Steinberger. Do you think it's easier to play with headless guitars? It depends. It depends on the headless guitar. It depends on the way it's set up. That headless guitar has a straighter radius, so it's a bit easier for like faster stuff, for like legato stuff. It also has like EMGs, so it controls. It can withstand higher levels of gain. Jesus, getting dark here. Um, so from that point of view, it's a little bit easier. But if it's for like bends, yeah, I don't like it for bending notes and stuff. Any thoughts on those DV Mark micro amps? Haven't tried them out. I have a Black Star amp. That's pretty cool. Have to change the batteries though. And that is really, it's cool. Sounds really nice. It's a cool distortion. Haven't tried out the DV Mark ones though. Steinberg is awesome guitar, but sounds crappy like guitar for this money. Um, yeah, I mean, I like the way it sounds for like distorted stuff, and some like very round, jazzier type sounds if I roll down the tone knob. But it doesn't sound like you're not gonna get a straight up Strat style, or I don't know. It just it depends on the things you like. Do you know? Oh, what's up, Raul? We've actually talked a bunch on Facebook. Good to see you here. Do you know something about hybrid picking and polyrhythms? Okay, so with hybrid picking, there's a whole bunch of different approaches. I always recommend Gustavo Assis Brasil for like hybrid picking. I also recommend my friend Israel Romero. He's a ridiculous hybrid picker. He's actually coming up with a hybrid picking like box set on the guitar tutorials. Yeah, the guitar tutorials. It's not really on this channel. It's gonna be up for sale. It's gonna be really cool. He's one of the best hybrid picking players I know. And in terms of hybrid picking, so Gustavo Assis Brasil has this really cool approach where he assigns a finger for these three for each string. So these three fingers go for the higher three strings, and then the lower three strings are all like either thumb or pick. And you can go, man, there's so many cool things you can do. Um, you can practice different patterns, like turn this thing off. You can practice that type of thing. You could practice different scalar jumps, like that type of thing. I think I got this from Jason Becker. I think he mentions it in his that clinic, that very famous clinic that he did in the Atlanta Music Institute, I think it's called, or Atlanta Technical Institute. A very old video. Actually, you have the DVD. Um, and in terms of polyrhythms, Jesus, that's a long topic right there. My brother has an amazing. I think it's the only book out there for guitar that deals with polyrhythms and all sorts of crazy stuff. It's called, Jesus, it's such a long name. I wish I had internet here so I could find it for you guys. I mean, on my phone. It's like polyrhythm, advanced rhythms and polyrhythms. His name is Jan Rivera, so it's JANRIVERA. Just Google his name with advanced guitar rhythms, and you can find that book. It's ridiculous. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff in there I cannot play for the life of me. It's really advanced. Can you play somewhere over? I can sing it for a second. Would you make a video about that super impulsive pentatonic? That example, by the way, it sounds so cool. Totally. The thing is, there's a whole bunch of different things you could do with that. You could apply. The main concept is you have three different pentatonic scales you can play over each chord depending on the different mode that you're trying to imply. So, for example, you can play like A minor pentatonic, D minor pentatonic, and E minor pentatonic over a A minor chord. If you're thinking about it as if you're playing Aeolian or the natural minor scale. And if it's Dorian, you can go A minor pentatonic, B minor pentatonic, and E minor pentatonic. And the same thing can be done with just about any of the different modes. So yeah, I'll try to do a series on those, covering each of the modes. Hopefully I can get them done soon. Thoughts on slap guitar? You're the second guy that asked about slap guitar. I'm not very adept at it. I tried to do some some slap before, but I suck at it. I'm not really that great. Not really great at it, so I don't have any types of movements like country. I can sort of fake it, but I'm not great at it. I'll usually play like blues, and like more jazz type stuff over a country tune. I'm not really the best country player or slap player. One lick tapping, 8 fingers. Jesus, you guys are like going for the jugular. I don't know. I can't do 8 finger tapping. You're gonna have to find someone else like young Gianluca Ferro. He's a ridiculous monster 8 finger tapper. I've never practiced 8 finger tapping. The most I can do is like sort of 6. Not really 6, but the whole Joe Satriani type thing. Like that. Ah! I'm not really a huge tapping guy, so let's see. By the way, loved your video, Nick Johnson. Thanks a lot, man. Look at our breaststicks show online. That's awesome, man. I wish it were too. Do you know how to play ukulele? I do not. There's an ukulele at my job. I pick it up every once in a while. It has like a chord chart, like a bunch of chord diagrams in the back, and I try to figure them out, but I do not know how to play it. I have this book. It's amazing, and your brother too. I mean, hybrid picking and polyrhythms. Oh wow. Okay, hybrid picking and polyrhythms together. So that's okay. That's a really cool topic right there. What you could do is arrange, like create different hybrid picking patterns, um, maybe with odd numbers. For example, you could do like 7/8 notes and just play it over like a 4/4 type of thing. Let me try to do something like that right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, that one, which I practice a lot, it's a 7/8 type of thing. So it's pretty much like a polyrhythm type of hybrid picking thing. It's the same like I explained the A Strategy Romero video. So if I were to play that over a 4/4 type of beat, let me see if I can grab some sort of backing track. Let's go with this one. So there, it's already something pretty much sort of like a polyrhythm. I think that's actually polymeter. My brother always corrects me on this, but I tend to forget. So the polymeter is going to change. Oh, I was actually recording that. So the polymeter is going to change depending on the type of subdivision you're doing. If you're doing 8 notes, like I was doing at the beginning, so then it's going to be like 7/8 over 4/4. If you're doing like 16 notes, then it's going to be like 7/16 over 4/4. That type of deal. The delay on this thing is crazy. I want something a little bit more subtle. Wow, that's heavy. Oh, because the tone's all the way up. Let's see. just create different hybrid picking patterns around those types of signature, not signature, ah, those meters. Jesus, I keep getting weirded out with names. Saludos, Juan Antonio. Saludo, Edwin. Tips practice quarter note triplets step by steps. I wish I had like a blackboard because it would be a lot easier to explain that way. So let's see. You have, you said quarter note triplets, right? Yeah, quarter note triplets step by steps. So the best way to do it is to take, okay, so grab a whole measure and write out triplets. Actually, not a whole measure, just take two beats. So 6 notes, you're gonna get 2 quarter notes, 2 8 note triplets. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna play every other note. So if you have, take the delay off, it's just gonna mess with things. So if you have, triplets there, so 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a. What you want to do is play every other note, or you could count it like 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, and every time you say 1, that's a quarter note triplet right there. I wish I had like a blackboard here because it would be a lot easier to explain that way. I could actually probably do a video on that. I should have like a notebook or something because I've been getting just a ton of ideas from you guys for videos. But that's pretty much it for like quarter note triplets. It's a bass. So one, I've noticed I use 9s for my Jackson. Never had a problem with them, but I put 10s in my other guitars. I noticed in my parts caster they feel great, but in my Harmonized they feel stiff. Any suggestions? I'm not a huge, like, I don't know a lot of technical stuff for the instruments, like technical stuff as far as how each of the parts work. So I don't know if I can help you a lot there. Sorry, I just saw something playing around. But I say just get it set up and talk to the technician and say exactly what your problem is with it. The tension feels harder. I mean, I think with a good setup, if you take it to someone that really knows what they're doing, they can work with the tension a little bit. At least the guy that works with my guitars always asks, how does the tension feel? Like, do the bends feel nice, or is it too hard? Is it too soft? So yeah, probably take it to someone that knows, because I have no clue. I suck at like actual technique, like technical things on the instrument. I mean, I do have to learn a lot more about that. Oh, I keep hang there. Who's your favorite guitar player? I don't have a favorite guitar player. I have a bunch of favorite guitar players. Let's see, if I go through the list of my favorite guys, I have to say my first favorite player was Zach Wild. Then I went to Jason Becker, I believe. Then I went to, I think it was Richie Kotzen after Jason Becker. Then Guthrie Govan. Then Alex Machacek. No, yeah, Alex Machacek. Then Alan Holdsworth. And the latest guy I've been liking a lot is Nick Johnston. But I don't have, like, oh, I like a lot David Maxim as well. But I don't have like a favorite guitar player at the moment. I have a whole bunch of guys that I listen to. And since I do a lot of lessons on different guys, I tend to get hooked on the guys I'm working on. So the next lesson, which is coming out tomorrow, is going to be on Andy Timmons. So I've been hooked on Andy Timmons for the longest time. I started working out with some from Frank and Bali stuff and some Greg Howe stuff, and started getting hooked as well. So probably my favorite guitar player is whoever I'm studying at the moment. I know that's not a really great answer, but it's the best I can say. Tips, simple. Okay, wait. No. How to practice using diminished scale and diatonic corporation. What's your way? Thanks again in advance. Okay, so it's what I said before. It's gonna depend on the progression, but if you're thinking like of a minor progression, you can start from the second note of the scale and do the diminished scale or arpeggio from there. Or you could think of it as the seventh. Like I'm in E right now. So from E you could play F sharp diminished or D sharp diminished. Or any of the other ones like A diminished or C diminished. And just keep going through the arpeggio. Um, okay, tips on simple plain groove. Simple plain groove. Listen to different groove-based players, study what they're doing, and practice it over a metronome. I think the whole playing over a metronome thing is probably the best thing you can do with grooves type of stuff. Will there be a polyphia techniques and concepts anytime soon? Uh, I'm not sure. I have like 2 or 3 guys that I have to do. To be honest with you, I don't know if I want to give them up. Yeah, I don't know if I want to say what I'm gonna be working on, but I already have. Okay, I'll just say it. I have worked out a lot of Kiko Laredo stuff, so I'm probably gonna do him soon. I'm doing David Maxim Missick. He actually gave me a mini lesson at NAM, and I'm gonna be using a little bit of the footage on the video, on his video. I'm gonna be doing Greg Howe. Um, who's the other guy? I have a bunch of guys. I have like 3 or 4 videos that I've been trying to practice, and then I've got Andy Timmons coming out tomorrow. So after that, it's anything's up for grabs. I'll probably do like another poll and see what you guys want. Don't forget about aesthetic sense of polyphia. Yeah, yeah, I totally gotta. Uh, I gotta check them out. Same with Aaron Marshall. I mean, once I'm done with those 3 or 4 guys I'm gonna be working on, and anybody out there is up for grabs. It could be Aaron Marshall, which I had in mind a long time ago for when I did my Plenty video. It could be the guys from Polyphia. It could be Jacob Sateki. It could be there's just so many guys out there, and just a lot of suggestions from you guys. So, and I mean, it takes a long time to study these guys because they're ridiculously good. It usually takes me about a month to about a month of listening, like full on listening. You're thinking about 2 or 3 weeks of just listening to each of these guys. Um, then I can start listening to stuff, to things that they do a lot, and then I start figuring out playing them, figuring out exactly how to play them with some of the phrasing. So that takes a while, and then trying to get it as natural as possible so it doesn't feel like hell when I'm recording the videos. And because I want to learn. I mean, I don't want to do these videos just to do the videos. I want to learn from the whole experience. So it does take me about a month or 2 months to study each of these guys. So it does take quite a bit of a while. What do you think about Dang Dut music? Dang Dut. I've never heard of that. I have to check it out. Really should grab like a pencil and paper and write all these things out. Although the comments are saved on the video, so I'll go back and see a lot of what you guys have been writing down. But I've never really heard of Dang Dut. And I have to do the pentatonic videos. I have to do Polyphia and Marshall, a whole bunch of guys. So I think I'm just about getting close to finishing this video because it's already running about an hour and a half. So I don't know if you guys have any final questions. This is probably the time to do it. What was your go-to listening to Kiko? I've done pretty much everything. I went for Dang Dut music from Indonesia. I have to check her out. It sounds really interesting. I haven't really heard it. So for Kiko, I went No Gravity. I'm gonna go full on instrumental rock key colorator. I'm not gonna go the jazz route, the jazz fusion key colorator, because it's almost like studying two different players. Um, so yeah, I did No Gravity. I did the. I started listening to his last two instrumental albums. I don't know the names of those albums. I do have like the physical copy of No Gravity, and oh man, the first fusion one. Tengo ya mi Luis. Um, so yeah, a lot of that. I listened to a bunch of Angra. How about an instrumental solo with Megadeth? Haven't really checked out a lot of the Megadeth stuff, since he does like to play a lot of the specific parts that the other players like Chris Pohl and Marty Freeman did. Um, so I have to check those out. But I'm going full on instrumental rock guitar key colorator. I'm not gonna look too much into the Megadeth stuff, and I'm not gonna look too much into the jazz fusion stuff. Just want to say I really appreciate these playing style and player technique. Really help. Sure thing, man. It's amazing, really seeing all the comments from the guys, from all you guys writing, saying that they're really helping you guys out. Um, that's really a lot of what's behind these videos. I actually started doing a lot of these videos just because I was kind of frustrated that most instructional material out there wasn't all that thorough in terms of explaining a lot of the stuff some guitar players were doing, especially with the modes. I mean, I don't know why there's like this whole confusion with the modes. So I said, just to hell with it. I'm gonna start doing videos to explain some of these things. How did you learn English? I learned English since I was a kid. I mean, I don't remember a time where I didn't know English. I watched a lot of cable television, saw a lot of movies, a lot of video games. I suppose reading in school. I suppose school helped. But again, I don't remember trying to learn English. I just kind of got it from watching TV, I suppose. Your favorite warming up technique before you shred? Actually, today I didn't warm up. That's my bad. Time got kind of away from me. It started raining, and I had to go get my amp and stuff. Um, so okay, getting back. Favorite warm up technique. So I just tend to turn on the metronome and play and play. Like lately, I've been doing scales and fifths. So I just C, come back in G, D, I mean E, B, and just playing that type of thing with a metronome. If I'm working on any type of technique like the legato stuff I mentioned earlier, I like to go slow with it. Always with a metronome. I mean, it's especially when you're recording stuff. It's really important to get the whole timing down. Amazing. Listen to Conquer or Die by Megadeth, bro. I have to. I'll totally check it out. Thanks for the time, man. Was awesome. Hugs from Uruguay. Sure thing, man. Nice seeing you. Nice seeing you around. Um, Alright, so I think that's probably gonna be it for the video. Hugs from Malaysia. Man, this is so freaking cool that there's people from all over the world. It's actually kind of day around here, so that's freaking awesome that it's nighttime there. And thanks to you guys for actually watching the videos and being interested. Hugs from Austria. This is insane. This is amazing. Got guys from Malaysia, Uruguay, Austria, here in Puerto Rico. Got people from all over the world. That's amazing. Okay, so I suppose that's it for the video. Talk to you guys later. I'm planning on doing more of these lessons or more of these live sessions. Probably on Sundays. I think Sunday's a good time for me. Good day for me. Hugs from France. Cheers, man. I like seeing your comment. I see you comment a lot in the videos. It's awesome. Thanks for your suggestions. All right. So I'll see you guys later. Take care.